I love talking to this man. I love watching him on TV. You can watch him on Good Morning Football every single weekday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on NFL Network. And you can also now stream his work right here on Peacock and Frogger. He is none other than Kyle Brandt back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Rich, you just scroll through Instagram hoping to find anything that makes you stop, anything that catches your eye.
Yes.
And today for me, it was the words, the Raiders signed Justin Fargas to a 3-year contract this offseason. Are you kidding me? What was that card? Please give context. I love this thing.
Here it is. So Kyle Brandt, as you know, out here on the West Coast, you're holding down the East Coast for us in the NFL Media Group on Good Morning Football every day with your colleagues. Out here, we have switched places from our first spot in Culver City, where we turned the lights on in 2003, to a new beautiful spot across the street from SoFi. And I used to have an office at the old Culver City spot because I did Total Access every day. And then when I was off of that daily show, I still had a space, a workspace that I'd go into. About 3-4 years ago, they reached out to me and said, hey, we've run out of space here. Do you mind if you just no longer have a space here because you're not here all that much as you used to be? I'm like, no problem. I just don't know when I'm going to come to clear the stuff out. They said, we're going to clear it out for you. And I have not seen those boxes until 3 days ago because they moved. So literally, I've been opening stuff up. And one of the things was this card that I had. I don't know why it was saved. I don't know why it was in a box, but it was from a 2008 NFL Total Access, where in the B block of the show, we had Adam Schefter come on, who was the information man at the time at the NFL Network. And some of the nuggets were, hey, Adam, the Raiders just signed Justin Fargas to a 3-year deal this offseason. Then they traded Darren McFadden, but Lamont Jordan's still in Oakland as well. What's going on there was the question.
Well, I'll get to Lamont Jordan, Rich, but first I have to tell you, free agent running back Kevin Jones has canceled his Saturday workout. It's so good. And, Rich, I'm going to pile onto this. So let me tie this together here. So you're talking Brady coming in, winning Super Bowls, losing Super Bowls. The man who cost him 2 of those Super Bowls, Eli Manning, I am talking with him later this afternoon. He's coming on to the 10 Questions podcast. He's coming on. And
Fabulous.
So the reason I bring this up is that I'm doing all this research on Eli. And I want to talk to him about his draft, the 2004 draft, and the Chargers thing, and how weird that was, and the picture with holding up the Chargers. So I'm doing all this research. So I just type in, I want to see the commissioner announcing the pick. So the video that comes up is you in 2004 in studio, and you're laying it out, and you're like, and Eli Manning comes out twice and says he does not want to be with the Chargers. They still wouldn't pick Eli anyway, would they? And then here comes the clip, and it's them picking him, and you look incredible, and the set looks so old compared to the one now, but it's all coming up kind of retro right now.
It is. It really is, especially since, Phillip Rivers was swapped for him, and Big Ben is the last one standing, and now he's got a pec injury. Steelers this week with a big game at home against Cincinnati. I mean, there's everything is retro is new, and Brady is obviously the retro, the most retro newest thing that's maybe been in the history of sports. Today is the 20th anniversary of Mo Lewis hitting Drew Bledsoe and releasing that Brady from the bottle. I don't know if there's any, we were talking before the show, is there anything in sports like a life-changing sliding door moment that even compares to that? Brady getting knocked into a game, right?
The Trailblazers took Sam Bowie in front of Michael Jordan. But
that's one.
We've seen a lot of bad draft picks. That if Mo Lewis just doesn't hit Bledsoe, we change everything. And that's not just sports. Brady is now part of American history. Like our kids will learn about him not in PE class, in history class. He's like one of the Kennedys or something. It's that big of a deal. And we haven't even gotten to him going back to Foxborough, which we will do in about 10 days.
Well, I know, and that's the way I led the show because we're kind of seeing that already. I also opened the door for you, Kyle, and it's okay that you didn't walk through it. It's fine. It was slightly ajar. You could have said whoever knocked Andy Dalton out of that Week 2 game against Cincinnati. You could have gone in that. You could have gone in that direction.
God, that was a clever door. I
you didn't see it. You didn't see it.
Into it. It's like a sliding glass door, and I walked right into it. Because there is nobody. There's no Mo Lewis. It was a non-contact bone bruise, whatever that means. Here's the deal. There's a feeling right now with the Bears of ready or not, here he comes. I don't know if they're ready, if he's ready, but the Bears fans and the Bears coaching staff gets to play with their toy this weekend. Their big, bright, shiny toy. And my takeaway, even before the game even happens, I'm already taking away, is it's a big day for Fields, but it's a huge day for Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy has to show us he knows how to drive the Ferrari. He's never driven a Ferrari as the Chicago Bears head coach. I guess we'll call it a PT Cruiser, is out with that bone bruise. And the Ferrari now, Matt Nagy, let's go. Let's do this. This is a guy, the most interesting thing about him and his home life and his background is he has a basement, Matt Nagy, the head coach of the Bears, or a man cave that is actually physically wallpapered with play sheets that he has had from over his career as a play caller in Kansas City and going back. That's the wallpaper. He posts them all over, and as a reminder of he is a play caller. This is what he does. He's creative. He has all sorts of ingenuity. Let's see it. Because last week, the Bears fans' takeaway was that Justin Fields, every single pass attempt that he had was inside the pocket, and we got a guy running 4.4. So, Matt Nagy, for God's sake, empty the bag. Run this guy. Roll him out. Bootleg him. Do everything you can possibly do. Because I think this is the takeaway. If Fields is shaky, Bears fans are going to come after Nagy if the play calling isn't really fun. Let's play with this toy.
The good thing, Kyle, is that the bar's not set very high in terms of Chicago and famous Ferrari cruises related to Chicago, right? Like Cameron set the bar very low in terms of taking out a Ferrari relating to Chicago from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? So this is the most important.
All over it. And it's not only that. Cameron lived in Lake Forest where the Bears facility is set up. It's practically right down the street when he crashed his father Morris Fry's Ferrari out the back of it. And listen, I think they made a big enough impression just kicking it a few times, and then the effect that it went out the back of it, way disastrous. So I would hope that the Fields debut as a Ferrari goes much better than Morris Fry's 1960 Ferrari California.
Yes, indeed. The 250 GT California Spider. You know, look, here's the thing, and you and I have chopped this up for weeks and months. Now we're here. I'm just, again, mystified why it's fine for the Jets and the Jaguars to just throw their first round choice out there. Doesn't matter. Take your lumps. Mm-hmm. And then the Patriots surround their guy with a system and just hammer it into his head. And he's perfectly built for it. Now, the offensive line may be the difference maker here, but why is Justin Fields just viewed as, he's got to take his time. We got to take our time with him. He's not ready. Is it entirely possible that he doesn't know the playbook, that he cannot spit out the plays? He cannot put it in his head, from his ears to his brain to his heart to his body? Is that entirely possible? Like, are we going to see somebody so unready this week?
I don't buy it for a second.
Right.
I just don't. Line up any box you want to line up, and I'll put a big fat check mark in it. In the college experience, the level of play, the going up against Chase Young in practice at Ohio State, the height, the speed, the accuracy, the deep ball, everything. I think he should have been taken second quarterback in the draft after Lawrence. I still do. So fine, they didn't. They liked the other guys better. But what is it? Because everyone wants to bring up, well, Rodgers sat and Brady sat. They didn't sit behind Andy Dalton. Rodgers sat behind a legend. Brady sat behind a superstar. That's why they sat. So what is it? It's not as if, Andy Dalton is what he is. I blame him for nothing. It's not as if he's been there for a couple of years and has some equity buildup. He's just as new as Fields is. Right. And yet, for some reason, he seems unimpeachable unless we have the bone bruise from the heavens.
It is going to be fascinating to see it all play out. I can't wait. Because if he does ball out, it'll be like, well, why the hell didn't he start for the first 2 weeks, but then we can turn the page and he's balled out, right? Unless, you don't think like he balls out, Dalton's knee's better, and then all of a sudden they put him back in the box. That just can't happen. I just think he's out there, and they're just going to have to rip the knob off. That's it. Take your lumps and go. That's it.
It depends what happens. And we were chewing on this morning. So the Bears win. They win 17-13, and Fields is shaky, but they get the win. Dalton get a clean bill of health. Is Nagy saying, all right, I told you Andy Dalton's our starter when he's healthy. We're going right back in. Or if Fields is really good and they lose, I don't know the limit of the resolve that Matt Nagy has in Andy Dalton, but it has seemed like almost a religious experience, his commitment to him. So I think anything is possible, short of Fields going absolutely ballistic and throwing 4 touchdowns. But then I'm telling you, we may be having this conversation in a week about, oh, my God, they announced Andy Dalton is back in. It would not surprise me.
Well, I mean, look, the guy, again, Matt Nagy came on this show week after the draft, said this is the plan. This is the plan. I saw it work out with Mahomes. I saw it work out. I kind of, gingerly pointed out that Dalton isn't even Alex Smith because he just showed up there, as you pointed out. Alex Smith had years in the system and certainly years built up with a fan base that adored him, So I can't wait. Like, this is a huge one that on the marquee that might not be as big on other people, but I can't wait to see this whole thing play out. What other games, Kyle Brandt, are you looking forward to seeing?
I'll tell you one. The Kansas City Chiefs have lost 2 out of 3. Now they welcome the prince who was promised in the AFC West, this kid who we were told is going to be the one to fight Mahomes for the next 10 years in Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has never played at Arrowhead Stadium with full capacity. He has never played against Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead Stadium. This will be the first time. And he gets Patrick Mahomes after Mahomes just lost to Lamar, the guy who he never loses to. So this one has big-time stakes because if Herbert goes in there and is just cool and slings it and wants to go back and forth, like, you're not so bad, then we might have something. And I don't mean just this year, I mean for a long time. If Mahomes vanquishes them and it says, and we're pissed we lost to Lamar, we're going to destroy you, then the hype's going to come out of that balloon. But I want something. The AFC and the NFL and the United States, Rich, is thirsting for a bird to Mahomes magic. And we have Lamar. He won a game. Maybe that's a start, but he started 0-3. Herbert winning this game would flip the table. It would mean the Chiefs have lost 3 out of 4 games, and there'd be chaos.
Well, we were talking to Chris Long a couple of days ago, and I love him. I don't know if you've had him on your pod. I'd love to hear
great.
The conversation with the two of you guys would be great to hear. But he said the Chiefs' defense was good for the NFL because how many times have we just gotten sick and tired of watching the Chiefs just come up with all these crazy plays and watch them score touchdowns? By the way, and his brother's on that team,
Right.
So this is true. Like we here on the show go higher register when we need to believe what we're saying. So the higher register comment of this week is the AFC West wide open? Like is it? Because the only undefeated teams in the AFC are in that division, and they were both supposedly the ones who were supposed to be on the bottom of that division. Is the AFC West wide open? Is it possible? Could it be?
Well, are we including the Raiders as possibly winning this thing? Because I'll tell you, the Raiders.
Well done. All
right. Yes. So here's where I come out on the Raiders, Rich. There's something that's very meta about this, and they're believing in the Raiders right now with the whole Las Vegas experience. I feel like I need to see one more win from them. Like, I want to see a third win. But there's also this unwritten rule in Las Vegas of don't go a third night. Like, the 2 nights are perfect, and they're wonderful, and it's the time of your life, and it's intoxicating. You say, let's stay one more night. A third night's hell. You cannot wait to get to McCarran. You're dehydrated. You're bored. You're broke. You're everything. Listen, the Raiders under Gruden don't have the equity right now. I know they beat 2 really good teams. Fine. They don't have the equity for us to be like, yeah, they're going to be great. Because we saw them beat the Chiefs last year and they fell on their face. There would be nothing more Raider than beating these 2 teams than they beat and then losing to the Dolphins, who just lost 35-0 and have a backup quarterback. I don't want it to happen, but I can't tell you I'd be shocked if it did.
Well, the Monday night opener of that stadium with fans was like a trip to Vegas, where it was wild and there were all sorts of bad decisions that you just lamented the next day, but you still loved every second of it, and the entire crowd around was like a Star Wars cantina, and you felt like you lost your shirt. It literally was an entire Vegas experience in one night. So I love the concept that this is the third night in Vegas.
This is the infamous third night.
We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, and you're sleeping with 6 guys on the floor at the Circus, and it's all you can afford, and you're bored, and you're making bad decisions. That first night was the first night. It's the best night, and I'm like, God, Darren Waller has 50 targets, and did Booger McFarland just eat a shrimp on ESPN? What is this? It's Vegas.
And Jacoby Brissett this week could be Mr. Chow popping out of the back of the trunk just to surprise everybody.
in his tidy whities.
Hopefully he's clothed.
Handcuffed and blindfolded. That's the set.
Kyle, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Eli Manning, when does that one drop on 10 Questions with Kyle Brandt? Okay.
On Spotify, 10 Questions. I'll record it this afternoon, and we will play the clip from the old NFL Network 2004. I can't wait.
All right, and which one's the latest one that you got out there?
That will be the season premiere.
Okay.
That will be the one.
Terrific. We're back. We're back. And check out Frogger here on Peacock with Kyle Brandt. Kyle, thanks for the call, brother. You take care. Man. You got it. That's Kyle Brandt, everybody. I thought he was going. That's when he's talking about taking his Ferrari for a spin in Chicago. I literally thought he was going to go Ferris Bueller. He left the door open for me to walk through on that one.
Yeah.
That's it. Matt Nagy's Cameron.
That's it.
He's got a Ferrari. What's he going to do with it?
What's he going to do with it? Is he going to put it up on blocks and try to roll the wheels backwards? Or
is he going to take it for a spin?
Out?
It's going to be great, and they're going to have a parade with Ferris Bueller. Right?
I don't know.
Here we go. It's going to take a stand.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
The Ferrari's going out for a spin. He's right. Like, we better see. Certainly if he tells, here's the one. If Matt Nagy tells hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.